Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the National Silver Academy's e-nugget series. My name is Aloysius. I'm from Vintage Radio, Vintage Radio SG, that is. So before we get started, today's topic is what makes a great digital experience. So here's a polling question for everybody to be a part of it. Go online right now and submit your answer. Do you wish to know how to achieve a better digital experience? Just yes or no. Go in there, do your poll now, and then we can get started. In the meantime, just want to have a little bit of a caveat. I don't have a PhD in engineering or electronics or the internet or anything like that. What I do have is a lot of experience and a lot of friends who actually guide me along the way, teach me stuff and all this. And of course, the internet itself, going online, learning stuff along the way. And if anything, is a PhD from the School of Hard Knocks. Not saying that you shouldn't be going to school at any age. All right, so let's see now. What kind of an answer do we have for the poll? Do you wish to know how to achieve a better digital experience? While we wait for the answers, actually a little bit of heads up. As you know, vintageradio.sg is a service that has been put together for seniors. And let's see the chat box. Majority says yes. Well, that's good to know. That means I need to carry on and not go home yet. Cool. So you want to know, or you want to have a better digital experience? First thing is to understand, right, what's going on around you and have an appreciation of what makes a good experience. So here we go. First of all, let's move to the next slide. The internet. We all know about the internet. It's this wide, wonderful thing that connects everybody together. The keyword is that it connects everybody together. But how well, how good is that connection? That's where we need to go into it. So let's step back and learn a little bit more. Can you see this? It's something which I think most of us would recognize, or this, or for that matter, can you remember this sound? This is the sound of the dial-up that you need to do before you get onto the internet way back, right? So you have to dial a certain number to your ISP, and then you hear that, and then, hey, you're on the internet. Years back, that's dial-up. Then, of course, we move on to broadband, and most recently, well, not that recent, but right now, most of us are on fiber, which is great sometimes, not all the time, right? Because it is still congested here and there once in a while, depending on the traffic itself. So what do I mean by that? Let's take a step back and look at your mobile device. Most times when you have things like full bar, and you can see that on the top right of your mobile device, full bar, that means you have great connection. But yet, sometimes you will not have a good listening or viewing experience, be it watching a video or listening to vintageradio.sg, right? And that's kind of the experience that you have, even though you're on full bar. So, it starts to frustrate people sometimes. Some of us a little bit more zen, others feel like screaming at the phone or stabbing it. Whichever which way, the thing is you need to understand what's going on. So full bar doesn't mean that everything is okay. It just tells you that you have a good connection. But it does not tell you the condition of the connection. That means the data that's moving back and forth between that connection. So it can be a strong connection, but if there's no data moving back and forth or it's slow, then that's where you have that kind of experience. So let's learn a few new terms. Number one, connection, right? That would be your good connection. That means you have bandwidth, right? We akin that maybe to a highway, and I'll show you a little bit more. Condition means the throughput itself. So the best way to look at it is this. Imagine the roadway. There are 4 lanes there. That's bandwidth. 4 lanes of bandwidth, right? And the data that moves back and forth to then allow you to surf the internet, watch your video, listen to music and all this, it requires data to pass through very quickly, up and down, up and down, up and down. So in an ideal situation, ideal, not real world, ideal situation, you will have probably what you see on the screen right now, right? But as more and more people get onto the internet, it gets a little bit different. Now let's step back and look at what is ideal. The ideal would be there is the connection and nobody's using the internet except you. So when you click on something and then you want to listen to something, that's where you get a little bits of data moving back and forth really quickly. In a situation like this, if you have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, boom, you're like Lewis Hamilton, F1, lightning fast speed, right? But as more and more people get onto the internet and start using it to watch video, download video, listen to music, send emails, send attachment for work or whatnot. This is what happens. More and more data is being transported back and forth, and then you get a slowdown in traffic, right? So it's like, you know, the widest part of our PIE is what, 5-6 lanes, but still it is sometimes at a crawl because of an accident or whatever, or when there's heavy congestion, it slows down. And that's what's happening when you have a situation like this. Things slow down, and when they slow down, the data doesn't come through that well. Even though you might have a very good connection, the flow is now disrupted or slowed down. So that what you get is kind of experience. Doesn't mean that you have to throw your phone away or throw the laptop away or get new connection. Even though sometimes when you talk to your telcos or your ISPs, they'll say, you know what, get more bandwidth, build more roads. We all know the more roads you build, the more cars there will be, and then there will be congestion again, right? As what you can see, the PIE, 6 lanes, it still gets congested, right? So what do we do? Option. If you are willing to pay a bit more to have your own dedicated bandwidth, then life is good. But the a bit more is something like probably 80 to 100 times more. Then this is what you have. A line for yourself, a lane for yourself, just for you, okay? But that comes as a high cost because you will be the only one that's driving out there. So imagine everybody's like caught in the jam and then you're like, sucker. But it's at a cost, right? So just so you know, we share the internet like in the good old days where you talk about the water being shared on a HDB flat, distribution, right? So if you take a shower at 3 o'clock in the morning, you will have like water coming down at you, no problem, right? But if you try and take a shower during peak hours where everybody's taking a shower, that, you know, big gush of water suddenly becomes not so much as a drip, but there'll be less power because more and more people are using it. So another way of looking at it really is that here you have a pipe. That's your connection, right? That's your bandwidth. When more people are using, more water is being distributed, more data flowing back and forth, you will have a slower speed. It is okay because you don't need to go that fast. We'll touch on that a bit later. So now that you understand, whenever you have full bar, but you can't even launch your browser, it means that it's just congested. Be patient, move around a little bit. Maybe you can get a bit different connection and better throughput, okay? So another question that I've always been asked, and that is about Wi-Fi. Can Wi-Fi pass through walls? Yes or no? Well, in theory, yes, it can. But it really depends on the kind of wall, the material, how thick it is and all that. So, you know, if you're in a room and then you have your router here and then you're outside, you find that actually the connection isn't that great, right? That's because not all of the frequency, not all of the thing is actually passing through. Now, depending on the material and the thickness of things, it could get a bit dicey. So drywall, as in, you know, those gypsum boards where they put up in between, you know, one room, they just separate that into two. That's like thin material and it's very porous. So Wi-Fi flows through very easily, but so does sound. And that's actually a good gauge. If you can hear something through the wall, then your chances are your Wi-Fi will get through as well, right? So the thicker your wall, the more difficult it'll be. And if you have a metal wall, then good luck to you because, you know, it just won't get through. Now, what about glass? If it's just, you know, a glass window, yes, chances are it'll be easier for the Wi-Fi to get through. However, if you have it tinted, tinting is done using little bits of metal, right? That will then disperse. So less of the Wi-Fi will get through, very much like less sunlight will get through, so less Wi-Fi, right? Now, apart from that, there are things that will also interfere with Wi-Fi. Okay, and these will be things like your microwave oven, your phone, your digital phone, right, or your cordless phone, as you will call it, and things that you seemingly have around the house. They actually disrupt Wi-Fi, the transport of it. So, you know, these are just some examples to let you know why is it that sometimes when you have a brand new router in your house, right, you are still not getting optimal. It's not that it's a lousy Wi-Fi router. It's just that there are too many interferences behind it. Imagine this, even the fluorescent lamp, they disperse, and they disperse Wi-Fi as well. So let's just give a nice scenario of a typical house, right? 3-room flat, okay? And most people, by design, will place their Wi-Fi router next to the television. Why? Because the designer or yourselves, right, would have had the point where your internet is connected, right, next to your TV point and your power points. All that already generating quite a bit of disturbance, but it's okay. So you put your television there, and then you click it, you hook it up, and then you put, you know, your router there, right? So here on the picture, you can see the router just next to the television. Now, if you're in the second bedroom, you only have a wall to get through, and if it's not too thick a wall, great. You should have some level of Wi-Fi connectivity, good connectivity and throughput. Now, the main bedroom or the master bedroom, that has a little bit more challenge because there are 2 walls now, okay? And if you are, let's say, for example, looking at the bathroom itself, if you happen to be sitting in the main bathroom throne in the morning doing, you know, reading newspaper or something, and then you want to have good connection, you're going to be very hard pressed, because in this situation, the Wi-Fi has to go through glass and wood and wall and whatnot to get to you. So you may not have a very good connection, or a good connection for that matter. Now, one thing interesting is this: if you look at the common bathroom, if you happen to be seated there on the throne in this diagram, and the door is closed, chances are you may not get good connection as well. So if you're alone at home, nobody's around, and then you can leave the windows or the doors open, but that's your own private matter. Anyways, back into the kitchen. If you have your microwave oven there and you're cooking some stuff and all this, then chances are you're going to have some disruption to your Wi-Fi connectivity as well. So these are things that are around the house which you can move around, or you can better understand, so that you're not going to say, oh, the ISP lousy, or this service lousy. It's not. It's actually that connection or the disruptions that you have in your house. So what can you do? You can actually move things around, or move around a little bit, so that you can actually get some slightly better connectivity and throughput. Okay, now remember this, and the fact that you have all of these happening, right? You don't want that to be happening to you. So again, we are the ones that's alive. We should be the ones that's using our noggins here to just move around a little bit, so that we can actually have better experience. Now, the bigger picture of things, this is the internet. And let's just say right now you have Vintage Radio there, and it's being delivered to you on the internet, right? In a very simplistic, idealistic way, it would mean that there are 2 data centers where Vintage Radio is being sent to the first data center that belongs to Vintage Radio, and then is sent to the ISP's data center. And then from there, they send it to their repeaters, there's repeating cell towers. And from the cell towers, it reaches your router or your mobile device. And then very happily, you're listening to Vintage Radio, right? With a big smile. But actually, that's not the internet. The actual internet looks something like this, if not more complex, where because of technology, what they want to do is to find the fastest route, the least congested route to you. And that means there could be different cell towers working at the same time, just trying to get that to you. And the internet itself, don't be surprised. Something that I want to send through to, let's say, Malaysia, can actually be routed through from Singapore to Hong Kong, to Korea, to Japan, then to Malaysia. Why? Simply because the direct route between Singapore and Malaysia, or to my intended point, is actually a bit congested. And therefore, through algorithms, they're just finding the fastest way to get there. That's all. So the internet is not as simple as it is, but it can be, just so that we understand it, right? So that we don't just, again, jump to conclusion that, oh, this service is very bad, or the phone, my phone lousy. No, it's not that. Okay, it's just the way things are. And the better that we appreciate it, and we understand it, then I think, we can actually start to get better experiences. There are a lot more things about Wi-Fi that you should know about. For that matter, let's just talk about us living in a block of flats, right? Practically every household would have its own internet connection. And chances are it would be from one of the few same providers. And when you go there and sign up, they will probably give you the same model type of routers operating on the same frequencies. As you know, if you don't know, same frequency will cancel each other out. So imagine you and your immediate neighbor actually having the same ISP, going there at the same time, or around about the same time, you sign up, and then you get the same brand of routers, right? And then you just, okay lah, default setting. When you go into default setting, everybody uses the same frequency, the same wavelength. And when that happens, you surf, you cancel each other out, and then both of you get angry. Not at each other, but at your service. So if you want to learn a little bit more about how to better administer or control your frequency, then I would suggest that you go online or maybe talk to somebody who can guide you along with it. Because honestly, I've learned this online myself, right? On how I can actually better control my Wi-Fi so that I have better connectivity and better throughput. Okay, now coming to a point that's closer to home, Android. A lot of us use Android devices, right? Why? Because it's more easily available for different brands and all this. So Android as an OS, an operating system, has certain defaults. And by default, they set out to try and save battery and data for the user, which is great, right? So anything that's running in the background can actually be put on hold so that it doesn't eat up your battery, doesn't kill your battery too fast, and doesn't continue to suck up data, and then you get a bill shock at the end of the month. However, this is done indiscriminately across the board. So never mind if you're actually listening to something, if the OS feels or thinks that it is actually not optimizing in terms of battery or data, it will stop the application. All right, and this happens on Android. So, which is why some of you might find that experience like, yeah, I'm listening, then the thing stopped. I think your service no good. No, it's just your phone, certain defaults kicking in. So what it is that you should learn a little bit more about your Android device. So I'm just trying to share some stuff with you. There are two modes on Android called the doze mode or the standby mode. Now, the doze mode basically means while your phone is on doze, which means that it's not moving, it is stationary, it is not charging, and the screen is on blank. That means screensaver lah, right? Not even screensaver, just blank, okay? That's where the device will go, oh, time to doze. What happens? It stops syncing your email and your other stuff that's on the thing itself. And Wi-Fi scanning stops as well, okay? It will still allow things like notification, SMS to come through, but a lot of the activities for your apps and for your devices will be put on hold, okay? Now, the moment you move your phone, that's where these apps will then start to come alive again because the phone now goes, oh, okay, it's not time to doze, it's time to wake up. Now, the other part of it is actually called the standby mode, which is the next level, right? And it prevents the apps that are operating from accessing the Wi-Fi networks, which means if you need connectivity to continue listening, to continue watching, right, then all those will be stopped automatically. And only when you start moving or using the phone does it then come back on. Now, why do I share this with you? Because we've experienced that with a lot of people on Vintage Radio SG, when you're on Android and you are listening and then it stops halfway, is because your device has either gone to a doze mode or a standby mode, okay? How do you overcome that? Android actually allows you to control by app whether if you want to save battery or save data. So in this case, what I'm going to share with you next is a little bit of that. But before we go into that, just to talk about what is foreground and background. Now, this is my Android phone, and right now, the app is playing foreground Vintage Radio. I've just moved it to the background and looking at the App Store itself. Now I'm moving it back to the foreground. Foreground means whatever is on your screen, occupying the whole screen itself and in action itself. Okay, so that's foreground for the purpose of our conversation. So how do we then manage the settings on Android to continue having a good experience listening to Vintage Radio SG and not having it muted or not playing at all? So here we go. What you need to do is to whip out your Android device right now and look for settings, okay? And touch on settings. There you have it. And then it will bring you to a page where all your different settings are. look for apps, 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 right? And touch on that. When you do that, it will then show you a whole list of all the apps that you have on your device. So in this case, what you want to do is to scroll down to when you see Vintage Radio SG, typically right at the bottom because of the letters V, right? By alphabetical order. Touch on Vintage Radio, and you will then see the app information. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because what you want to do now is to next touch on mobile data. When you do that, it will show you the screen and a choice to allow background data usage, as well as allow the app to run while data saver is on. Now, so what you want to do is to turn that on. So what it means is this particular app, Vintage Radio SG, is now going to be allowed by the OS to continue operating, continue taking data in, so that it can then play the music, right, that you want to listen to, even though it is in the background or even though it is in rest mode. The next thing to do is battery. So we now have to go back, right, until this page, which is the app info again. Instead of touching on mobile data now, what you want to do is to touch on battery, okay? And when you do that, you will see this page, touch on battery usage. Oh, sorry, optimize battery usage, not battery usage. Optimize battery usage. Now, when you touch on that, it will show you the screen. Again, look for the app, Vintage Radio SG, and take it off battery optimization. So what it means is that it will then allow the battery, the app to run with the battery feeding the app, even when it's on rest mode, because in the background, that's what you need. So in that case, once you have this done, your app should be running smoothly. And this is not just for Vintage Radio, it can be for any streaming app, be it for audio or video, right? Well, usually video doesn't affect that much because you'll be watching the screen, right? And touching a bit of things. So it's very much the audio which you like to leave it on and let it play while you're going about doing your own things. So again, these are the steps that you should be doing to manage your app so that you can actually have a better experience listening to the station or any other streaming app. Now, speaking of Vintage Radio SG, it is my privilege to have with me today a gentleman that I think a lot of you know. All right, you've heard him on radio, you've seen him on television, you hear his voice all over the place. He is none other than Mr. Brian Richmond. So here we have Brian Richmond joining me here.
Guess who?
Hey, Brian. So
that was very nice. I mean, it was a real eye opener for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
cool.
I thought I knew everything.
Well, we live and learn.
That's right. That's right. Well done.
And you know, the thing is this, Brian. You've been in broadcast for many years. I almost said for as long as I'm alive, and I think that would probably be true as well.
From 1971?
Okay, like 4 years. When I was 4 years old, you were on TV and radio.
That's right. That's right.
And, you know, during that time, technology has moved forward. And, you know, those were the days of the analog stuff where you have your open reel tapes, your cartridges and cassettes, turntables. You know, now you're on Vintage Radio SG every day, Mondays to Fridays, from 8 till 12 noon.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're using technology to do this. How did it happen for you?
I mean, I actually was dumbfounded, you know. I surprised myself from, you know, picking up on modern day technology and learning how to operate, you know, the computer and then, you know, in connection with the mics and things like that and all this. I'm doing it all at home.
Yeah.
In the comfort of my, you know, of my bedroom.
and in very comfortable clothes too.
My sarong.
Yeah.
That's right.
So imagine, no.
Don't imagine.
Okay. So, you know, how's your journey like? I mean, you know, moving from tape to computers.
Yeah. Oh, this, I've been in radio for as long as, you know, you remember. Now, sometime in the mid-90s, you know, we went from operating with turntables and open reel tapes and cartridge machines and all that to computers. We were operating on the master control, you know, and we had somebody to come in to train us and teach us how to go about it. If I didn't go through that period, I don't think I will ever get back to radio. Just like an old friend of mine, he was off radio for quite a while. And when he wanted to come back, that was the period when we were making the transition from the old-fashioned method of operating to everything that's brand new, anything to do with digital technology and, with the computers and all that. And he just couldn't fathom, how to master, handling the computer and all that. And that sort of frightened him to the point where he never came back.
No, but, the thing is, Brian, the thing is, even though you've gone through that part, right? I mean, of late, you have done things like hosting online, right? You've hosted events online as well and hybrid events as well. And
on Zoom and
Exactly. So the thing is that I think, if I can be frank, really, it's that, the attitude of saying, look, I'm not too old and it's not too difficult, and it's just learning new stuff.
Like you said, the magic word is attitude, even, if you don't know, nothing wrong with asking and getting help, from people like you. I mean, I got a lot of help from you and even my second boy and my wife.
Mm-hmm.
She's very good at it. She picks up things very quickly.
So I should train your wife to train you, lah.
Yeah, that is the whole idea.
Okay, so we're coming down to that. No, but I think the other thing is also, I mean, you've got a 13-year-old grandchild now.
Yes, and he's getting very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all this is for the generation of today.
Well, yeah, but I think the good thing about it is that it actually keeps you all together. You have something in common to learn, from each other. I mean, yes, grandkids and kids will learn from their parents and grandparents, but right now the situation is there are things that we learn from them as well.
Yes, because I mean, in as much as sometimes you tell them, you advise them what to do and all that, then when it comes to anything that's any digital technology and all that, if I'm not sure, I will ask him, without any fear of embarrassment. I will ask him. He will tell me, and I will tell you, thank you so much to my grandson. And how good he feels that even my grandfather acknowledges that I know something about this.
And at the same time, he also learns from you.
That's right. And that is what this whole world is all about today.
That's today's world. So I mean, I would imagine that a lot of us, and look, I'm not young, I'm not a spring chicken, I'm actually over 50. The classes tell me. Oh, thank you very much. But it'll come a time where I think I have to ask my son as well. How do you do that? In fact, I'm asking him some of the stuff that he's learning. So and he's 12. And it's very much a two-way traffic, and I would encourage everybody, really, for your friends, for your relatives and all this, you're never too old to learn new stuff. As you can see here, Brian is still very relevant, using technology to be relevant to everybody and to continue bringing, his brand of music and entertainment to our seniors on Vintage Radio SG. Great.
Things are really moving very fast, because now we're gonna, you're gonna go into a shop to buy groceries and what have you and all that, and it's going to be cashless.
And it's in fact, online as well.
You've got to learn, how to go online and things like that. But never fear that you are going to be embarrassed in any way. You're never too old to learn.
Spot on. Okay, well, right now it's time for some questions, Q&A. And let me see now. I would encourage you to ask questions, not just of me. You don't very often get Brian available to answer questions. Nothing too personal. And no, we cannot play requests right now. No song dedications. But anything that you'd like to ask us, please fire away. And I think we've got some questions coming in here. So let me just look at this. How do I get the most out of my mobile phone? Okay. And also, what is the best mobile phone for me? Well, very simply, how do I get the most out of my mobile phone is to learn a little bit more about it, understand it better, so that you can then actually know what it can and cannot do. I think that's the best way to go. They come with a manual, but nowadays everything is online as well. And the best thing is just try it out. most times you won't kill the phone. You just have to reboot at worst. And the best mobile phone for you very much would be this. You need to answer the question, right? What is it that you want to do with the mobile phone? Okay, if you're going to use it for gaming, like live gaming and all that, then yes, you need something that runs fast, that has a long battery power, and more importantly, I guess, a big screen as well, right? Then in that case, buy a laptop lah. But for the best mobile phone, really ask yourself, if I'm just going to use it to make calls, send messages, send some photos back and forth and all this, you don't need the fastest, most expensive phone available in the market, right? Middle of the road phones will get you that done and at a much cheaper price, and then you can actually save on that. So really figure out first, what is it that you need to do? If you're not sure, or what is it that you want to do with your phone, right? If you're not sure, please, go to the shop, and the responsible thing for the shop owners to do really is, the promoters, is not just, Uncle, here's the latest phone, what you can do everything. No, they should be telling you, like, what is it that you want to do with it, and then advise you the best phone that there is. Okay, more questions here. Is it safe to share Wi-Fi with your neighbor? I would suggest that if you have a good relationship with your neighbor, why not? You can share, especially if they don't have any Wi-Fi connectivity. Sharing is caring, and if you're on a plan that is unlimited, why not? And in fact, that might help you not have a situation of Wi-Fi clashing, because I touched on this before, right? That if you have both from the same ISPs and the same devices and all this, as far as your router is concerned, and if you just go everything on default, then chances are your Wi-Fi is canceling each other out as well in some way or another. So yeah, it's okay to share, but there must be an arrangement and agreement between the two of you to say, okay, this is how we're going to go about an understanding. And then, it's always, for me at least, it's good to share. Okay. Hi, Aloysius. What antivirus, malware, software, and firewall do you use? Recommend for Android phones? What about password managers, VPN? Wow. Okay, I have to come clean. I'm not an Android user. I'm actually an iOS user, an iPhone. Yeah. But antivirus and malware software, I think it's safe to go with the usual brand, usual suspects, right? You might have to pay a bit more, but security, I suppose, comes at a price. And I think ultimately, some of the things that you need to do, put into good practice, is to make sure that if you have some things being sent to you by somebody that you don't know and you don't trust, then don't click on it, right? And if somebody sends you an attachment, why don't you? It doesn't kill you to give them a call and go, hey, did you send this to me? Is it safe? Especially if it's a friend, so that then your friend can actually tell you, yeah, it's okay, it's safe, or whatever, right? So don't open anything from anybody that you don't know, right? It might be innocuous or anything like that. So just practice safe surfing methods. Okay. How can I ensure that I always use Wi-Fi if it is available? On your phone, there is a setting that allows you to turn on your Wi-Fi and to use that whenever available, which is sometimes is called automatically use Wi-Fi or automatically go to Wi-Fi. So make sure that is turned on, so that, if you're outside, you're on your cellular, but the moment you reach home, once your phone detects your Wi-Fi, then it goes, okay, I'll switch over to Wi-Fi, right? So that helps you save on your data. Whoa, too many questions, hang on. How often, I'm showing my age. How often and when is it good do we need to charge our Android phone battery? Charge from 0 to 100? Okay, you don't have to use it until it dies, as in like, right? But it's good practice that you will start to charge maybe at 5-7%, and then let it charge fully to 100%. And then you can take it off the charger. Sometimes for me, I leave it on the charger until I need to move around. So what I don't do is to, every time I get home, charge the phone, because it can be at 80%, 60%. Batteries have a cycle, number of charging cycles. So what you're going to do is to make full use of it, start as close to 0 as possible and then charge it to 100%. Usually, just plan a bit, especially at night, before you go to bed. charge it so that the next morning when you wake up, it's fully charged, and then you don't have to go, oh, I forgot to charge and then I got no battery. So just a bit of planning, a bit of discipline, and you will find that actually your phone battery will last a lot longer.
I was about to ask you that question. Can we charge the battery overnight?
Yes. Nowadays, okay, in the days of the Taikotais, with the big phone like a brick, those, if you leave it charging, for longer than it's supposed to be, then the battery starts to like, right? Yeah. And then you have to pay like $400 for a new battery. So nowadays, the batteries actually can remain on the charger, right, without further deterioration, because once it is 100, it stops. And then it will allow the phone to actually live off the charger power rather than the battery power until you plug it out. Yeah. So, it's fine to leave it charging. It's okay.
Can we leave it at maximum in the day?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
the only thing is don't hello, okay, put it back again. Then that kind of starts the cycle again, right? So once you've unplugged it, just let it drain out and then redo it. It's good practice. Let me see now. Will my mobile phone battery deplete faster if I keep connected to Wi-Fi? Actually, Wi-Fi consumes lesser battery than 3G or 4G, and in future 5G. Well, maybe not 5G, I don't know. But I've done an experiment before where I've taken my phone and let it run on 4G and then let it run on Wi-Fi. On Wi-Fi, it lasts a lot longer than just on 3G or 4G. So Wi-Fi consumes less power. You mentioned about tweaking the settings on Android phones to keep on listening to music. Is it the same for iPhones? For iPhones, no, actually, somehow they're a bit smarter, I would think. I've not had problems with my iPhone on default settings, so I don't imagine that to be a problem compared to Android devices. I may be wrong. Too fast. Okay. What's the difference between 5G when we are out and the Wi-Fi that we normally use at home? Okay. 5G is cellular data still. It's just that it's on a different bandwidth and it's a lot bigger and a lot faster. So not to confuse Wi-Fi versus 5G, 4G, 3G, right? That's the cellular data. 5G is touted to be very much faster and have higher capacity. Now, I would caution that if you think back, right, when we had dial-up and we needed to send an image file, an attachment on an email, it takes forever. Then broadband was supposed to resolve all of that. But when broadband came about, people started downloading movies, started downloading, music files and all this, and started sending bigger file attachments. And then basically, it's not fast enough. And then, you can't wait for fiber. Now fiber is here. Everybody's just downloading HD movies. Remember what I was telling you about your phones and, what's best for you? The thing is this. We like to tout that, this phone, wow, you can see HD, very clear. But seriously, do you need to watch HD movies on your mobile device? Because HD is supposed to have, very good clarity and very good detail. But my point is, do you need to see the pimple on the nose of the actor? You don't, right? So not watching a normal definition video is good enough. Unless, of course, you're doing like some major thing and then you need HD clarity. There's no need to do that. So, coming back to the thing is, even though 5G and whatnot is supposed to be the answer, when that comes about, there will be more demand for data still. So what you want to do is to consciously, think about it and see whether if you really need HD or is it just normal definition will do, right? Okay. Question number 10. I sometimes must Wi-Fi disruption problem when I am in the master bedroom toilet, etc. How can I go around it? Okay, you need to look around you, right? To see what is actually blocking the Wi-Fi. And there could be certain things that you can do to experiment. For example, move your router to a more open spot, perhaps. Make sure that there's less disruption, move it away from TV. It could be that you have a cordless phone that works, that's near you or in your bathroom and all this, that could interfere. You remember the days of the GSM phone where if you stand near a speaker and then you hear this, yeah, that's interference, right? So now you don't hear it, but it is still interfering with your Wi-Fi, be it your phone or any other things around there. So what you want to do is to experiment, move things around and see whether if that helps. If you're more adventurous, you can also try and see whether if your frequency that you're using for your Wi-Fi is actually congested, right? And then you can try and move that around. Okay. Is it okay to use the same password for everything, as it can be quite difficult for me to remember different passwords? Well, when it comes to passwords, the more difficult, the better it is, but it shouldn't be difficult for you. It should be difficult for the hacker or for anyone else trying to figure out your password. So the only downside to having everything the same is that if you do know that your password is compromised, then you start to change everything, right? So it is about being aware as well. Nothing wrong. You can also devise a system where there's a certain pattern to your passwords, so that your bedroom could be this set, and then the next set could be somewhere else. Stuff like that. Play around with it.
Write your password down and put it in your wallet, just in case you forget.
No, Brian, don't do that.
Huh? Oh, you mean in case I lose it?
Yeah. There we go. Hi, Brian. Oh, a question for you. Hi, Brian. What was your major challenge in adapting to digital age?
Oh, that's it was really massive. It was really massive, because I just couldn't meet all these demands for example, passwords, and go in here, go in there, and you swipe right, swipe left, and so I had to just go through it. And this was done actually not too long ago. It's not that I was, you won't believe this, my first mobile phone, which I still own to today.
Collector's item.
It was a hand-me-down.
Oh,
it was a
collector's
hand-me-down
item.
From my second boy to my wife. And after my wife got her phone, she gave me her phone.
Usually it's the other way around. You get the latest, and after that you hand over to hand.
So I pick up the not the most expensive phone, but whatever.
But it still works.
It works. It works for me. And that's how I started getting used to it,
I think it's more of, again, your attitude. As in, like, never give up, just try. Okay, I may not remember it the first time. I'll go it again, second, third, repetition, and muscle memory comes into play, right?
I've only started, I only owned this mobile phone about 4 years ago. Yeah, that's
not that old. Okay, let's move on. The switches of the Wi-Fi and TV are side by side. Why then I switch on and off the Wi-Fi, the TV blacks out for a while, i.e. switch off and on again? You know what? I am not sure this part. That caught me. Let me read that again. The switches of the Wi-Fi and TV are side by side. Why when I switch on and off the Wi-Fi, the TV blacks out? It could be your power. I'm assuming that you're talking about your power point or your power supply. It could be that not enough power coming through, or somebody's wired your power a little not correctly. You might want to have some electrician check out your power points just to make sure that it's properly wired out. Shouldn't happen that way, right? Another question for Brian. Brian, do you encourage your children or grandchildren to be a DJ like you?
No, not at all. But, like, for example, my first boy, Mark, I suppose he was influenced by what I used to do, and that's why he got into the same business as well. But of course, he's moved on from that, so he's doing a lot more than just DJing and all that. But I've never gone to my kids to say that, hey, listen, this is what you do with this piece of vinyl, and
vinyl, what's that?
Yeah. Otherwise also known as records, So I've never pushed them. I've never pushed them in this direction.
But it's more like, I don't know, I've seen you, with your kids and your grandchild. And the thing is, I think you've got a very nice way of saying, you do what interests you, and see where you can go from there. Because I think
if they're interested, I will encourage them, and I'll always tell them, be the best that you can be, in whatever you do, whatever field you choose, be the best that you can be.
And enjoy doing it.
That's right. Because if you enjoy doing it, you will be successful. That's for sure.
Okay, here's another question coming to Brian. Do you consider yourself to be IT savvy?
Not really. Yeah.
Not really?
No, not really. Because, I mean, if I were considered to be very IT savvy, that means I'm just kidding myself, because I was dead against it, on the outset of, the digital generation and all that. I wasn't really into it. But then I picked up as I went along, and I attempted to learn. And to overcome. If I'm not too sure about something, I will call for help.
Okay. Well, actually, this term IT savvy and all this, I would like to take that and throw it out the window.
In fact, when somebody asked me, I said, I'm an internet idiot. I.
Well, in some ways, I would like to share that, if you want to talk about that, I'm also pretty much that, because I'm still learning, I'm still catching up, right? And I think it's for everybody, because technology moves very fast, right? And the only thing I would suggest to everybody and encourage that really is to continue learn something new every day.
Yeah,
it's
true.
And if you do that in 365 days, you've learned 365 new things minimally. Because definitely when you learn something new, then there's something new and there's something new. It's going to pick up, right? So, what have you got to lose? Really nothing, right? So learn. Okay, another question. Hi, is Vintage Radio SG having DJs throughout the day? Is it playing 24 hours retro songs? Okay, so Vintage Radio SG is a 24/7 service. It streams nonstop 24/7. And DJs throughout the day, no, we don't have, because we can't afford. No, but seriously, the thing is that this is something that we are very fortunate to be able to make available from very generous grants from 3 individuals, philanthropists, as well as a bit of a grant from the government itself, existing grants that were available for us to try for. And the cost of operations is quite high for a yearly basis. So what we do now is that we've got 4 DJs, 4 presenters, one of them being Brian. The other person is actually Patrick Guo Xianhua, formerly with Rediffusion.
That's right.
Patrick, I think he calls himself Lao Ya, the old duck, right? Then we have PN Bala, who hosts our Tamil music segment. By the way, Patrick is on at 4 o'clock every day, 4 to 8, and he plays Chinese songs.
Yeah.
He plays
not all the time, but there will be some
Cantonese,
Mandarin classics,
Yep.
including some Cantonese and Hokkien favorites as well.
Tiola. Oh,
Yeah.
can I see? Oh, okay. Anyway, Moman Thai. So then in the evenings from 8 to 10, we have PN Bala, who's a very well-known personality to the Tamil community. So he hosts 2 hours, Mondays to Fridays, playing all your Tamil favorites. And then from 10 till midnight, our 4th DJ, who is also a very well-known name, Rahima Rahim, Kak Girl, right? She hosts 2 hours in the evenings from 10 till midnight, playing you all the familiar favorites from good old days of 50s, 60s, and 70s. Yeah. So you get to hear people like P. Ramlee, Saloma, and all that.
Correct.
Yep. So those are the 4 DJs. If we do have more revenue coming into the channel, then we can then put that into hiring more DJs and improving on the service itself.
Aside from the DJs manning those, those slots, we also have other interesting programs.
Oh, yes.
Like interview shows.
Yes, on podcasts and all that.
And then we also have Music and Me, where we introduce, where we bring on some of the old veterans who will share their favorite songs with us and
their life experiences.
Yeah, and their life experiences.
This is a shameless plug. Next week, do listen out for Music and Me, because we've got a very special person, a gentleman in his 90s. Yes. He's served in 3 different countries, armed services, and gone through the war, World War II, and all that. So, something to listen out for. We've also got Weekend Warrior, right?
That's right.
Where you, if you're a listener of Vintage Radio SG, can come on to be a DJ for 1 hour, play your own music, and do whatever you want to do, and learn some new stuff from us as well. Okay, wait, hang on. Back to questions. Forgot. Hi. Oh, by the way, the music we play from 50s to the 70s. None of that Justin Bieber.
No. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hi, Brian. Do you think that learning technology is very important, especially for seniors like us?
Most especially, because the way things are going, Singapore is moving towards being a digitally savvy society.
Yep.
Right? Where everybody is, that's the reason why they're getting all the older folks, getting them in and teaching them how to use all the various means, like, for example, how to use your mobile to go into this or go into that, go shopping, going online and things like that.
Exactly. And I think it's important that, to be connected, you don't have to be, if you look at a scale of 1 to 10, right, in terms of technology and being connected, what you want to do is to be somewhere between, 3 to 5, right? Yeah. And that's good enough for most of us, because that's what we need to in our daily lives and all this. And it helps to keep us connected with each other, with your friends, with your family, even though they're not here, they're not physically with you. Remember, I mean, we've gone through COVID. We're still going through it right now, right? It is with technology that you can still stay connected with each other, and it's important. And I can't say this enough. You need to encourage your friends, your family members in your social circles to just take that step, take that leap, and learn. It's the new norm, right? And the better we are at it, the better it is for everybody.
Pretty soon, what's going to happen is when you go to a hawker center, you don't pay with cash.
Yeah, no more cash. No cash here. No take cash here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see now. Brian, if you were to live your life again, what will you do to embrace digitalization?
Oh, yeah. I think if I was born into an age of digitalization, I would already be completely immersed in it.
I think they call that a digital native.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
correct.
Your grandson.
But of course, we are in a very difficult position where we are trying to make that transition.
We are the digital immigrants.
Or idiots.
Immigrants. Okay, so you will embrace it.
I will.
I will. What you've done.
I have to. I mean, otherwise you'll be like totally out of step with society.
Exactly. Be in step, be in tandem, and it's no shame to not know, but it's a shame to not want to know.
Yeah. Right.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, damn diva. Okay. Okay. Question number 19. Hi, Brian. How do you keep having such a nice smile always? Music helps?
Looking at Aloysius.
Oh my God. I crack you up.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
No, I think very important. Happy thoughts.
Happy thoughts. Positive outlook in life.
Positive outlook in life, and love the people that you know. Yeah, and have an open heart.
He's got a big open heart. I kid you not. As a young DJ, nobody knows, right? I walk down the halls of radio, and then there's this gentleman, very well known, because you listen to him and you watch him on TV, right? He comes out, he goes, "Hey, you Aloysius?" I say, "Yeah, I listened to your show. Very good, lah."
In case you're wondering, Loy used to host a night show on The Perfect 10, 987. And it's really, the ratings hit the roof.
You're too kind. No, you see true. What I mean? See?
I used to listen to your night shows.
Oops, that was the mic. See? Technical idiot. Okay. Can we play vintage radio on PC? Yes, you can, on any connected device. So if you have a smart TV that's not too dumb, that is connected to the internet, you can also play vintage radio SG. You just go to vintageradio.sg. Right? We try to keep it simple for everybody. Question 21, oh my gosh. If I wish to do a KTV session online with friends on Zoom, do I need to get a KTV mic or just sing through the headset mic? Well, you know what? There might be some rights issue on that, but that aside, you don't need a KTV mic. Just a normal mic will do. It's just that you're not going to get all those fancy echoes and stuff and all that. But it's okay. If you can sing, sing. And the most important thing is enjoy yourself. How's that for an answer? Okay? All right. Hi, may I know what is channel frequency for Vintage Radio SG? Okay, so we're not on FM. That means there's no frequency. Okay, we're only available on streaming, which is why it's important for you and your family members, especially the senior cohort, to learn to get online. Then you can listen to vintageradio.sg. You can listen to this gentleman, Brian Richmond. You can listen to Guo Xianhua and PN Bala and Rahima Rahim and all your 50s to 70s music, including Cantonese songs and Hokkien songs. 真的話冇騙你，乜都有得聽。
And you know something? I've gone through this and I really enjoyed it. You know, watching the Wong Sa Ye Fong skits.
There you go.
Oh my goodness, it brought back a lot of memories for me.
And then for those of you who are interested, we also got Lei Tai So Gong Gu.
Right. The old rediffusion storyteller.
Do you know that he's the father of podcasts, by the way? He talks about, you know.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
And radio was the first social media platform, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm just, as you know, I'm pro radio. Okay. Question number 23. Many a times why we go to on and off the Wi-Fi because it's laggy. Why and what should I do to improve? My son go to buy an extra wire to connect to his room to boost up the speed. Okay. So here is the situation here, right? When you have that LAN cable connecting from your router to the computer, then you don't need the Wi-Fi. It's actually just going through there. So it's not the be all and end all, because the actual thing is that your router is still connected to the main internet, right? I call it the main internet. So which means if it is congested, no matter how fast this is, it will still be slow because the supply is slow. Just to set your expectations. Now, when you talk about your laggy Wi-Fi and all that, I don't think it is your Wi-Fi that's laggy. Chances are it is a clash of frequency between you and your neighbors. So what you want to do is to maybe get your son to figure out and go online and research a little bit about how you can manage the frequency selection of your Wi-Fi so that you can actually look for one that is less congested. And then hopefully that might be give you a better experience when it comes to surfing the internet. Okay, let's see now. Question number 24. Remember when I was young, mom tunes into Radiofusion to listen to Hong Kong DJs acting out dramas. Will Vintage Radio bring that back? You know what? If we, that would be the last question. Okay. So if we can source for it, we would definitely love to play that. What you would probably can do is to give me a little bit more information, because I have to confess, I wasn't a Radiofusion listener at that time, even though it was playing.
Check with Patrick.
Yes.
Patrick will tell you. Yeah.
We'll check on that and come back to you. If we can get it, we'll definitely play that. And it's probably going to be available as a podcast as well. So which means you just have to go onto the app or the website, vintageradio.sg, click on it, and then you can listen to those stories. All right, so we'll come back to you on that. Now, having said that, thank you so much for your questions. A few more slides to go. And this would be a shameless plug again for vintageradio.sg. If you have your phones on you right now, be it an iOS or a Huawei or an Android, please scan one of these QR codes so that you can actually download the app if you haven't already done so. There is also this Listen Now QR code, which that if you scan it with your mobile device, you can actually go to the web streaming on the browser for your mobile device. Okay, I'm just going to count to 10 and move on to the next slide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's as much Spanish as I have. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, next slide. If you do find this talk useful, please like and share the video with your family members and friends. Help them to pick up these useful tips at their own pace and convenience. Seriously, whatever you do, start learning. That's the most important thing, right? And to learn more about vintageradio.sg, you can visit us at vintageradio.sg. Simple enough. You can also You can also email me. I'm Aloysius Tan at vintageradio.sg, or just go to info@vintageradio.sg. If you have to get in touch with us, this is via WhatsApp, 8846-8849. 8846-8849. Don't go out and buy 4D. Probably not coming out tomorrow. All right. Also, you can call 6478-5029 or visit the www.nsa.org.sg to explore the many learning opportunities for seniors aged 50 and above. All right. So do follow us, and let me see now. I think that's it. We've pretty much run more than an hour. Hope you've enjoyed it. His name is Brian Richmond.
And his name is Aloysius Tan.
Thank you very much. Live long and prosper. Be well. Don't be afraid to try new things.